The youth. All over the world, there's a discussion about the impact of young voters on elections. In France, the youth vote helped Macron get elected. In America, young voters were captivated by Bernie Sanders. And in the recent UK election, young voters almost helped Jeremy Corbyn get elected, which proves that young people, like Mother Teresa, can almost perform miracles. And while young people are perceived as pushing their political agenda left on issues like gay marriage, climate change and income inequality, that doesn't seem to be the case here, which is weird because we have compulsory voting in Australia, so you'd think those young people have to get out and vote. So how are young people in Australia engaging with the political system? Well, rather than listen to what old people tell young people what they think about, I thought I'd come here to Melbourne University to speak to some actual young people.
They're on uni break!
Fuck! So I've come to this pub to speak to young people about what they actually care about.
I suppose the biggest one at the moment is probably the gay marriage one. Like, we're the last nation to really jump on that, which is kind of sad. The first time I voted for Liberal when Tony Abbott was up. And then in the most recent election, I voted Labor.
I think the biggest things I'm concerned about are inequality in society around things like healthcare, education, welfare.
Education and the environment would probably be the top two.
Not too sure actually.
So, we're generally pretty engaged, and more diverse than you might think, but why isn't that reflected in national politics? I spoke with Matt Thomas, who was a convener with the Victorian Young Greens, to ask how young people can better affect change. People at party meetings are generally sort of an older generation. Sometimes they're retired. That's sort of easier for them because they've got free time. That's a tough thing though, isn't it, for young people who might be balancing study and work?
Yeah, and social media is another really important way that you can engage with politicians. You know, commenting, sending messages, but also retweeting and sharing can have a really big impact.
Wait, so memes can fix politics? The floor is meaningful action on climate change. Is that a meme? Am I doing it right? Am I memeing? When you say that the major parties don't actually address concerns of young voters, do you have any theories about what they could do better to address those concerns?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a really simple one. You could pass marriage equality in the next 10 days.
And that's an interesting point, because the young people I spoke to on issues like gay marriage and income inequality and housing affordability were frustrated at the slow pace of change. So why is that happening? Because what young person has the time or inclination to engage with politicians in the way they're used to? Hours on the phone to MPs explaining why climate change is a problem. Or what young person wants to spend hours at town hall meetings listening to Agatha complain that she doesn't want to live in a world where gay marriage exists because it'll affect her cat Tibbles. Or as another Agatha complains that climate change can't possibly be an issue because, you know, she remembers the long hot summer of '63. Or as a third Agatha complains that the tea has gone cold and all the free Monte Carlos have been eaten. So, young people's concerns continue to go unaddressed. And so it's no wonder that faith in democracy amongst our generation is lower than amongst any other. Something's got to give. Either our politicians need to take young voters' concerns more seriously, even if they're expressed on social media, or young people need to start rocking up to town halls and eating some motherfucking Monte Carlos. The reason politicians get away with declaring they should actually sell out our future is that we're not being heard.
Instead of trying to save the planet in 2050, the Queensland Labor should just concentrate on saving jobs today.
Maybe if I tweet and eat Monte Carlos at the same time, or do I tweet about eating Monte Carlos? Yeah, that'll do it.
Hey Matt, will Monte Carlos taste the same in 2050 once the Arnott's factory is underwater? Hashtag, won't someone please think of the biscuits?
Yeah.